Last weekend, I put on a Marvel Rivals charity tournament called the Show Pool for $25,000 on the 7th and 8th. The tournament went phenomenally well. Everyone had a really good time. The games were great. We had a few technical issues on the Sunday, but overall, it went about as well as I could have hoped for. Until the following couple of days, I discovered that the money never existed and was part of a massive amount of fraud in the worst way possible, taking that money away from charities. I have decided to come out publicly with this, and this is what this video is going to be. I have a roughly a 45 to 49 page document with outlining everything that I've spent the last week compiling since the tournament and since finding out about the fraud. And I am going to make this video unedited, unfiltered. I'm not going to be sending this off to my editor to do anything with. I thought it was important that you get to see all of this in real time. So it is going to be a long video. Strap in. There's a lot here. And I'm going to begin by going through all of the build-up to the tournament and all the conversations that me and the perpetrator had. And I will end with the evidence. So if you just want to get to the evidence at the end, I would probably skip the majority of this. But I think the context is really important because it does tell you exactly what has happened and why the evidence is so damning. Before I get into it, there's a couple of things I want to be very, very clear on. And that is that in no way are you... How do I phrase this the right way? In no way do I want any doxing of this person's IRL details. So if any of you sleuths out there, internet sleuths, as you're going through this and watching this video, want to try and find them IRL, I'm urging you to please do not. All of this evidence will be given directly to the local authorities, as I know their address and I know their workplace, and all of these details will be given to their workplace as well. I will be working with the local authorities in a fraud investigation when I hand this all over to them after coming out publicly like this. So I'm urging you to please not go down that path and please let the local authorities do their job. I am also going to please implore you to not drag anyone else into this drama. I have chosen to come out publicly. This is my choice and my choice alone. Please do not drag anyone else into this. Please direct any and all comments, drama, whatever you want towards me and the perpetrator, no one else. If the captains or the players or anyone else involved in this do want to come out publicly and state their support and etc., that is their choice. Otherwise, please do not harass them, message them, or try and get them involved in this drama. Okay? With that, let's start going through everything that I have. This is going to take a while, so I hope you've got snacks and drinks, and if you don't, get them now, because there's a lot here. This file will, of course, be available to you all to view in your own time outside of this video, but I thought it was important to do this in a video format as well, so you can see me go through this with you and give you any extra context and stuff as you go through this file. Sorry, my mic is very squeaky. So let's start. In this document, you will find screenshots and clear as day evidence of fraud, manipulation, and the person in question showing a pathological need to lie. At no point will I be doxing this person's real name, address, or otherwise, and I will black out any points it is part of an email or evidence, but the details of this situation and their real details will be passed on to the workplace and local authorities, as I said to you. I implore each of you to follow this path and not dox any details of their real life and allow any investigations from local authorities to run its course. They have used my knowledge of their IRL details to try and manipulate people into believing that I will use it to dox them. Please do not give them any credence to do so, as I am stating right now, it is unacceptable. They will face the consequences of their actions through the correct legal means. I'll also quickly add on to this, if anyone tries to dox their IRL details, you will not be welcome in any of my spaces either. I will not have that kind of behavior. That is not the point of me coming out publicly. I send this to clear my name and to show undeniable evidence of what has happened with the show pool tournament, and most importantly, in an attempt in any way I can to get the money to the charities involved that they deserve, even if it comes at personal cost. I'm very aware of how social media is, and I'm aware that in coming out in this way, I may potentially damage myself and my personal brand and stuff in relation to this. But for me, it's worth it if I can get the money to the charities, or any money to the charities after this debacle. It was my name all over the tournament. I was the sole tournament organizer. I spent weeks and months planning this and putting it together, so I'm aware that I bear some responsibility in that regard. I will start with all of the DMs between us, showing the timeline leading up to the event and the lies and manipulations, and end with the clear evidence from the charities themselves. So again, skip to the end if you just want to see the evidence. Let's start. This is our first discussion of the tournament on December the 21st, and as you can see here, during this 22-minute phone call, Google had said to me that his boss had wanted to throw in $25,000 for us to run a tournament. When I questioned why, I was told it was for tax break reasons, which is a very common reason for people to make big charity donations, and in fact is probably the main reason that very rich people do this. I accepted and immediately started thinking about what I could do and what kind of tournament I could make. I obviously don't have that call recorded. So Google starts off by saying, you'll be free today for a serious VC call. Yeah, I'm free, just working on stream stuff. Is this an opportunity call or I fucked up call? That's just my neuroses thinking I've done something wrong immediately. Very big opportunity. Okay, call whenever. There's the phone call. Immediately afterwards, as you can see the timestamps here, I took like an hour or so to kind of start to set up things. I set up Google Drive. I started thinking about what I wanted to do. And then we got my friend Kale involved, who is a very dear friend and a good marketer. So I wanted her to be involved from the beginning. Here you can see what you mean 25K, which is then showing that during this conversation, he had already mentioned $25,000. And that's obviously very important moving forward. This next screenshot and section is, I should mention as well, as we're going through this, because this is going to be important. While I have given you specific screenshots here, I have taken the captains individually in a voice chat and shown them the DMs in real time in a voice call in full. So any accusations of being edited or falsified on my part are simply untrue, and there is a lot of corroboration on that because I have happily taken everybody through the real DMs with no cuts, no nothing, just everything laid out bare. I think that's worth mentioning early on. So here he is asking, where does the money go? He needs receipts, etc., so he can write it off, and who holds on to the 25K safely? Again, confirming 25,000. Give me an hour to find the best solution for charity because there are official companies that can hold. And here is him, bitching about his boss, to be perfectly honest, but he won't do more than one, but it's his money. I know he's been a bitch though. Trust me, some things I'm like, bro, stop being dumb. And probably Twitch charity section would be best because personally, I don't want to hold on to any money. Fuck that. I immediately start looking and I shoot down PayPal here. So this is me first talking and setting in place the initial logistics and money handling and further confirmations that the messages from Google's side from the very beginning were clearly stating that his boss will be paying the money and me rejecting any use of methods such as PayPal. PayPal is terrible anyways because they charge a lot of fees and I would never want to use PayPal for something like this because it's unverifiable. So there are two options that fit what we want to do while still keeping things super, super minimal. Bear in mind the date here as well. This is on the 12th, so this is on the 23rd, sorry. So this is all happening, American dates, screw me over. So this is all happening like days after the initial proposal. 'Cause I'm English, for those of you who don't know, so that's why. I then immediately establish a couple of ways that we can do it. We can use pledge.to, which is a well-established charity funding to send the 25K dono to, and he gets his 501c3 tax receipt, which is the tax break receipt he needs, which is what I assume he wants. We can then assign the 5 charities we want to split it through to pledge without affecting his donation at all. So we would create a fundraiser that he would just dono to, also has Twitch integration. Alternatively, if he wants to make it a charity bank account instead, He can use Fidelity Charitable to open a charity checking account that we can then email which charities we want it to go to. So that would give him more direct control, but more setup than Pledge. So my recommendation would be Pledge. He gets one link, pays it, gets his receipt, and we can split it how we like, and it doesn't affect him whatsoever. Already, I'm very early establishing the use of Pledge to protect ourselves and to protect the money. What about mainstream donations? How do we manage that? It would all be managed with Pledge, but we can assign it how we want. So for example, we split the initial as planned, then all donations on the day are assigned to a different one of our choosing or multiple different ones of our choosing. But most importantly, and this is key, nothing touches our personal accounts or anything close to, and we can't get at it for personal use, so we are fully protected. It's basically us putting up a charity fundraiser page on it that means it is separate, and we will make clear that any and all donations have been made through this link to count, and I will turn off donations on my personal for the day. Very clear evidence that within 2 days of the initial proposal, I was already ensuring that we do this the right way through a reputable third party that ensures we never handle the money and his boss still gets his tax receipts. This will be very important later as he tries to undermine Pledge and the use of a third party. So I wanted to establish a clear timeline that I already was looking at protecting ourselves. It would all be managed with Pledge, but we can assign it how we want. So for example, we split the initial as planned, then all donations on the day are assigned to a different one of our choosing or multiple different ones of our choosing. Oh, that's what I've already read. Apologies. I like how we can't touch it because I know we both won't touch it, but just need to have proof we didn't touch it because that's a lot of money. And okay, let me make an account with my work email and I'll show him tomorrow. He's kind of clingy when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it's also his money. This is very, very important for this situation. Immediately, Google chooses to jump on it and him make an account using his work email. So right from the very beginning, he has chosen himself to use his work email. There is no obligation for him to do that. There is no reason for him to use his work email. And that was purely his choice with no coercion, no guidance from me in order to try and steal any details. That is going to be exceptionally important because that is his narrative throughout all of this later on, that I was trying to get access to his details. It is clear as day here that he initially chose to do that without any input from me, and it was his choice to do it. He will see it there plain as day. It's a very known and respected charity organization that is built exactly for this, but it gives us the flexibility to assign multiple charities without any extra work. And I point this out here. His immediate choice to use his work email. We will see it because it's our fundraiser of exactly what's in there. He essentially will be nothing more than a donor. You are welcome to share as much or as little as you like in terms of charities that we've selected, of course, so he knows exactly where it's going. But outside of that, he won't be privy to any other financial information outside of his donation. He can't have it both ways, mate. Sorry. Either he does it all himself or he accepts that he is a donor, and we can be transparent, but he will not be allowed to see who else donates or their information. Here's the thing, mate. If we do this right, we could double that money easily with other sponsors and stuff that are involved, but there are confidentiality rules that cannot be broken. The only thing he can control is his own donation. Clear as day. Let me make an account tonight and show him. Once again, demanding that he, or stating that he is going to make the account. And also giving his boss a little shit. He's so dumb when it comes to this kind of stuff. I like that people will be able to see the amount, so it's more legit looking. So my only intentions of protections and transparency for all involved cannot be any clearer, along with my clear statement that I will not break the law, which I state here. I get it, don't worry, but it's a lot of money, so he obviously wants to know where that's going, and that's okay, but I won't break the law for him. Just stating that clear from the outset. I even afterwards check that we are not copyright infringing on any Disney or Marvel IP, because we know Disney are particularly litigious. So I've put this here to show you how careful I was already being right from the outset, because that will go against his narrative later. And you can see here, last thing I need to check is that we're at risk of any copyright infringement from Disney. And I checked with a lawyer friend of mine to ensure that we could use Marvel Rivals assets, and it was fine. I was also very clear early on that I wanted proof and receipts to be given at the end, no matter what, and to ensure that no one's personal information would be in jeopardy. This is also the start of Google laying the foundations for what would later become his go-to argument to justify his methods. Pledge, link, and webhook for the event will be done when I get home. I can post whatever, but it doxes the shit out of people big time. Note that, it's important. What do you mean by post? As in physically post? Receipts. I'll need to black out most of it if anyone asks for one. Again, laying this foundation early that his methodology of blacking out the information that would be able to be used to verify the receipts, he will need to black out. I then tried to clarify and say, no, it will be if the individual wants their receipts, then okay, but we'll have a pathway to ask for it. Otherwise, it will only be posting the total being sent to the charities as proof rather than each contribution individually. So again, stating that that's not a problem because we're not doxing people's personal donations, where the intention was to show the receipts at the end that Pledge have sent through the show pool fund. So here's just a little bit of confirmation that he wasn't really doing any of the work particularly. I was doing pretty much all of the work to put this and piece this all together. Because he later tries to state that it was his tournament, not mine, even though I did literally all the work for it myself. Sorry I've not been around and lack of helping. This is just big for me and I'm one step away from VCTs now. His claim was that I have no verifiable proof of. His claim was that he was scrimming for a team that was potentially or one step away from being in VCT. And that's why he's not been around and I couldn't get a hold of him because he was too busy scrimming. I take it at face value. I know you've been super busy and I don't know the details, but I figured it was a big opportunity, so no stress. I just want to do the best I can with this tourney because it's also a big opportunity, I think. Well, maybe. I will point out here, it would be very naive of me to sit here and say that I was not getting something out of this personally. I knew that this would allow me to meet some great creators through it, meet some great captains and stuff to bring on board. And be able to promote myself a little bit as a caster as well throughout it. So while the main focus is and was 100% to do something good for charity, I'm not naive enough to sit here and pretend that I wasn't getting something out of this as well by doing all of this hard work. During this, Google had said that he had a Razer sponsorship and was cagey about how it was going to work, and an early push from me to have something in writing. I'd never heard of a sponsorship that wasn't airtight and contracted. He'd stated very early that he had a Razer sponsorship. Razer is hard to explain, but they are chill and will send the money. They paid for the mini cup tournament. So for context, the mini cup tournament was a tournament he put on before the show pool. Where he stated that he put $12,000 to charity, which I also believe was fake, and was the precursor to then trying to put this one on with me because he got away with it. I have no evidence for that yet. If I get it, I will of course send it. But it makes complete sense knowing what we know now. They paid for the mini cup tournament, only $500. Loved everything. They just said, make sure Mr. Zav and Nick aren't drinking Monster on screen. I'll have Monster logos behind them. This is because I casted this event for him. Is it a personal connection you have with them? I would like to get it in writing and exactly what they need from us. It's also good for us then to be able to say to the other creators that it's confirmed rather than being like, maybe, you know. This, 12 seconds or so, I'm happy to like play this right now for you if I can just quickly find it. But it's basically him just making an excuse and saying, "Oh, that's just how it works with Razer." So let me quickly scroll through our DMs and play this for you. I have nothing to hide here. So even he will try and say otherwise, but this is why I'm doing this live and unfiltered and unedited. So I'm sorry if this is not as engaging as like an edited YouTube video, but I wanted to be clear about how I wanted this to be done. Oh my God, there's a lot of DMs. Sorry, let me find this particular one. I'm having to scroll for quite a while because I was not prepared beforehand. Here we go.
They're like Red Bull. They can't sponsor something that they don't own, but they're more than happy to send money and we just promote them. That's basically how it works.
So he's saying that they can't sponsor it directly because they can't sponsor something they don't own, and just claiming that that's how it works. I personally have never heard that being a thing ever. So I was already a bit cagey about this. I know someone at Razer that connected me to the right people. You can tell creators Razer is helping and then just play the ads. So in terms of promoting, if we can find out how they want us to promote, is it banners on stream, a panel, you get what I mean? And then we can get a solidified figure, that would be amazing. She sent me like 6 ads and said, play these during your tournament that were under 30 seconds. Okay, that's easy to do. We can have Adam put those on the breaks. Adam was my producer at the time. Razor is chill with small streamers, FYI. She was in chat and watched she's cast and sent it to a couple of people. So this is very important because as I started pushing and asking about it, he then tries to divert attention by complimenting me and say, hey, she's sent your casting to a couple of people, right? This is a common theme. He does this quite a lot throughout our conversations. I'm sad to say that I didn't clock it before. Sadly, I'm a sucker for a compliment sometimes. And I will also say, during the later portions of this, I was so tired and so knee deep in organizing this that I just missed the signs and I didn't listen to my gut. This was his first play to really take over Pledge and ensure he knew all the information possible so he can start to work out how to work around it. Do you have the email with Pledge stating that they would set up a found where the money can go? This is supposed to be fund. His spelling is atrocious throughout all of this, but I will correct it where I can. Set up a found where the money can go. I'd initially emailed Pledge to make sure that they could set up the show pool fund in the way that we wanted, which was to have a big pot, and then at the end, I give the figures to Pledge to send to each charity individually because I already had a plan for like a pay-as-you-go style, which is what we did in the tournament. They won extra money for their charity for every game that they won and for the mini games and stuff. So that's why it needed to kind of go into a pot rather than directly to the charities, which was what I was saying up. I sent him the emails. He said, can you send me those links? I sent an email and said that we can't do that. So I sent a screenshot. So he already was trying to get in to Pledge like behind my back, even though he knew I was already talking to them. I sent him the links anyway, which I blacked out here a little bit just in case, and kind of left it at that for now. And I carried on kind of talking to them as well. Here, this is the first indication. So this is the 19th of Feb. So this is around a week before the initial date, which was supposed to be the 27th and 28th of February for the initial date of the tournament. So he says, your stream title charity amount is wrong, by the way, with a suggestive GIF. And this is his first hint to me that he had more than just the 25,000. And he then goes on to say this. The Carl Group is throwing in some money because they need a better tax break this year. So I said, how much are we talking? Because I can announce a big new donor and blah, 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 blah. Once all the teams are picked and the charities are confirmed, then he will, I mean, that's a mess grammatically, but he will send them the link and let them go crazy. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I'll take anything. I don't know why I just did that. Should be able to confirm in the next couple of days. Just explain, and this is where I then push him a little later on, because I then sat and thought about it, and I was like, okay, just explain to me this a little more, bud. So obviously can't change the initial like prize pool thing because they're just going to donate on the days, or are they donating beforehand? He states they're going to donate beforehand, split amongst all charities. Pledge is being dumb and not answering me now. They won't do a general fund. So I will have to sit there with my boss's credit card and pay X amount to whatever charity when X teams wins. My boss is fine with it and won't be an issue. This is extremely important to highlight. So this is him already laying the groundwork to try and find a way around Pledge. You will see later on throughout all of this, his methodology for getting away with this is to doctor and forge receipts and then just send them to the captains claiming that the money has been spent, when in actuality, it hasn't. My insistence on using Pledge causes a problem for him because paying it through Pledge gives us evidencing, because Pledge can then confirm the donations. So he is already trying to lay the groundwork, understanding that, okay, once he's looked into Pledge a bit more, realizes, shit, I can't do what I would normally do. So Pledge is being dumb and not answering me, and they won't do a general fund. So Nick, you can't do it the way you want to do it. Let's find another method. Ooh, here's an idea. I will just have to sit there with my boss's credit card and just pay it at the end when we know the amounts. Obviously, in my mind, this isn't going to work because the money needs to be there before the tournament starts in a fund that is ready to be paid, because I don't want to have the situation that's happening right now be an option. So it's very important to note that. This is me kind of pushing back and making sure that I am talking to Pledge so I know the details. They told me they would they told me they would, so I'll get on it. I'll push that tomorrow and give me the campaign details in the Discord room for Pledge. In fact, you have 5 minutes just to VC and give you a quick rundown of where we're at. He kind of ignores this, which is a common theme. He has stated later on that we had lots of VC conversations. We didn't, because he made sure we didn't. And he made sure he was unavailable for most of this, so I couldn't push him too much throughout organizing it. Because general fund, people don't get to choose what charity they want to support. If we do it this way, people get to support what charity they want that's on the list. I don't expect too much donors anyway. The last thing my thing, I only had $413 dono, and that was because someone in Jenny's chat dropped like 300, I think, because a lot of people have no money. So a bigger pot from sponsor just helps. I'm at work currently and I'll be here till late, blah, 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 blah. Stating a reason why we couldn't talk. Of course, no worries. I'm sure in the email they said they can do the split because I specifically asked them for it. So this is me pushing back on it. I'll follow up with them. Can you send me what you have said to them in the unresponded ones, and the campaign details of the one you set up? And also, how involved on the running of it do you want to be on the days? Right? So this is me kind of making sure that I know exactly what is happening with Pledge so that I can be sure that the money is being held safely. This is him. He tells me just before this that the Seb Tries tournament that was supposed to be on that same weekend was cancelled. So I'm like, great, no other competition, fantastic. And then this is him confirming that the car group that he claims will be adding an extra bunch of money on top of the 25K will probably be about 20K. So I'm obviously really excited, right? And I'm like, oh shit, this is now like, because if it's 45,000, that would be the record for this kind of tournament. So I'm obviously like, yo, this is great. And this is his first suggestion of that, plain as day. My boss is poor compared to these people. That's a rough guess chatting in the group. They need tax write-offs. We got to give him a hell of a show. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that all in your hands, mate, to make sure that happens. I'm approaching a lot of other sponsors, and it would also help to be able to save more money than 25, but obviously I understand if not. So this is me saying, okay, like I will leave the car group donations for you to like organize them and get them done through Pledge, essentially. You know, as long as it's added into the pot, I don't know them. There's no point me trying. You deal with that, right? Again, he says, I sit there with a credit card, safest bet. I'd rather do that than us fighting with Pledge and it get fucked up. So here he is again laying this groundwork very early to be like, oh, well, Pledge is fucked. I'm going to have to sit there with a credit card, right? And the reason being for that, by the way, of course, is because then if he claims that he sat there with a credit card and paid it, he can use his forged doctored receipts as proof. And I have no way to verify that other than to go to the charities directly, which is what I did in the end. I will talk to them anyways because I want to ensure it's all good with the widget too. Again, me pushing back on Pledge, because the other thing with the widget is it won't show 25 if you have to wait until the end to pay it all. Or when they go to the pot, it won't show that. Could be open about it on stream and be like, it's going to be up every single match and explain. People are more than happy if you're open and explaining. They will also see a minimum of 20K from the car group. So once again, reaffirming that and trying to find an explanation and a reason for me not to continue working with Pledge. If you can get the info for me, show me what you sent them and I'll chase it tomorrow, right? And then I just reaffirm all that here. So this is just more him questioning a little bit as I've kind of taken over communications with Pledge at this point. No, I got to ask them if I do. Gamer Steve is my main versus real name. Does it look like Gamer Steve on my tax write-off? Because I hate how you have to give a name and then post it your real name. It doxes the shit out of people too on my end. On a tax write-off, I would imagine it has to be their government name, but no one else would see a tax write-off. That's a personal thing. The donation itself isn't the tax write-off. There's a form you have to fill out, which is the 501c3 that I talked about in the beginning. That's the tax write-off form that these people need. And this is where he starts just throwing out random shit. And you'll see this at the bottom here. So I said, can you send me all the details of the login? This is my first kind of really big push on getting access to Pledge since he first claimed he needed to set it up with his work email. I kind of left him to it as I was piecing together all the early parts of the tournament. And I didn't really need access to Pledge at that point because I hadn't really started delving into it apart from just setting it up, apart from him setting it up. So I then start to push, can you send me all the details to log in and the page, please, so I can give it to Pledge because they will need the specific campaign I'm talking about. Because here, I was about to have my first kind of conversation with Pledge about the tournament. So I wanted access to the page so I could see it and know what I'm talking about. At the bottom here, he says, give them this, which is the page here. I can't really, my boss's credit card's full info is on the account. This made me very suspicious because my understanding is there is no reason to have your details on your account. And apologies, I'm doxing myself a little bit here, but I want to do this live for you because I can show you just like a Pledge page. If I go to like my random one that I set up, this is not the show pull one. This is just like one that I logged into. You can put credit card details in here, but you don't need to have the account. You can make donations without this information whatsoever. You can just donate and put your details on that donation rather on the account in full. So this didn't really make sense to me. Okay, it's going to be tough, I think, without being able to get in, but okay, I'll give it a go. The main thing, I guess, is that people need to be able to look at the campaign and funds at any point and see the total. But I assume there is a viewer page or something like that that doesn't share personal details and stuff. And this is where I question it. Why are all the card details on it? Surely that's only when the actual donation is made, which is my understanding. He then shows me his previous campaign that he did for the mini tournament, which, again, I don't have access to, but I'm pretty sure was also completely falsified. I already thought this was weird, and during our Zoom meeting referenced here, Garrett, my contact at Pledge, confirmed to me that you don't need to have credit card details on file to be able to use it, so either Google had made that choice deliberately and chose not to remove the credit card details to allow me access, or never added them and used it as an excuse to not allow me access. This is a very common theme throughout this. So in here, I say, okay, well, we can look at that when we go, when we do it as a one-time holding donation. Instead, once it's sorted with Pledge, I'll need the links to get to that page for commands and all the individual charity links if they allow us to do it. As soon as I get the full 8 charities, basically saying I'll give you access as soon as I get full 8 charities, which just didn't really make sense, but okay. The car guys are going to donate equal to all charities. This is important because they obviously don't. Do we know how much yet? Mini 25K, 20K. Again, diverting me, again, he's immediately like trying to divert my attention from getting access to Pledge. And he does this a lot. Last time they did a car charity thing, they raised like 35K. Okay, well, I'm doing nothing else for the rest of the week. I'm making sure this is one hell of a tourney. And again, this guy owns 4 Bugattis. Like, it's very clear his manipulation to try and move me away from the logistics of Pledge. In context, my boss is the poorest one in that group. Well, I won't get my hopes up until I see the money in there, but I'll keep working away. And then I confirm the charities here. And this is, again, him basically pushing hard against Pledge. Once I get it, trust me. So this is me saying, where are the payments? So this is the 22nd, right? So we're about 4 or 5 days out. Once I get it, trust me, give it a day for the banks to clear. Haha, it's all good. I think as long as it's there before the tournament starts, because then the widget will show it and people will be able to see it when they go to look at it. I'll confirm that all tomorrow, though, when I speak to them, when I speak to Pledge. Yeah, then I just sit here and dono with my boss's money if Pledge is dumb and don't do the dono pot thing. 3rd time already, pushing that same narrative. Pledge is dumb. I'll just sit here and pay it, constantly trying to get me to move away from Pledge where there is safety and proof so he can falsify all the receipts without anyone being able to check up on it. But I never budge because I know it's the right thing to do. Then I'm talking to them right here. And while I'm on a call with them, US or Canada based the company, US because I'm asking pledge on the call right here. As in, your boss and the car guys making the big donos. Canadian, we can do USD though, it's fine, just for tax receipt purposes, because I was finding out how all of this worked and making sure that I was right in my assumptions, which I was. A few days before the original event date, my producer had to back out of the production due to a family emergency, so I was about to call the whole thing off. This was on the Monday before the event that was due on the original event date, which was due on the Saturday. My producer unfortunately did have to back out, so about 5 days out, I had no production, no stream really whatsoever, and I was trying to pull it all together, and I was debating whether to just call it off. So where I'm at right now is either we delay a week to the 7th and try and get a production crew ready, which will just be a continuation of this week's issue and no guarantee, or we do one of the last 2 weeks in April. Leading up to this point and through all of these communications, I have also in the background been pulling all the captains together, all the teams together. I've had so many people confirm and then back out. By the end of the tournament, I had around 20 captains who confirmed with me. I started making all of their graphics and doing all of the legwork that I needed to do, and then they backed out. It was a common theme throughout this whole process and made my life much more difficult. So that's why you might see some frustration here. He has offered to pay for a producer before this, just to be able to put on the tournament. And I think he offered $250. I then say, okay, if we can offer to pay them, cool, let's just do the 7th and get it done. I won't have funds at this very moment for it or by the 7th, so immediately backing out of that commitment. I'll pay at this point. I think I'm just super over it and I want to get it done. I've been let down so much in getting it done and I don't want it hanging over me, so I think I'm pretty set on next week. I don't mean that as any offense to you at all, by the way. This has just been such a shit week and I want to complete this and move on. So then confirm the 7th. And again, I said the same thing here. He would initially pay for a producer, then couldn't. And I was already pulling like 16-hour days to try and pull this tournament together. And I'd stopped streaming. I hadn't streamed at all during that previous week or the week after to make sure the tournament was my priority. Here, this is after we had changed the date to the 7th, so we moved it a week. And then I eventually, on the 1st, got a producer. So like 6 days before the tournament. Which was my friend Ebroth, who stepped in last minute to pull the miraculous tournament that you guys got to see. So actually, that's a lie. It's not stupid American dates. Hang on. Yeah, so it was actually 6 days. So I apologize. That was actually 6 days. Yeah. We didn't really start working until 5 days before, because it was very late night. I think on the 1st that I'd confirmed it, but anyway. Ebroth took it. It's also important here that you know your event, because he was just showing that these two were scrimming for my event here, and he states your event. They're scrimming lol for your event. This is important because later he tries to claim it's his event. Moving swiftly back to Razor, just very quickly, these are the videos he sent as Razor adds to play on stream at least once. Following is his confirmation of what we would be receiving for this and my attempt to get more information. All good. Got them all in there. Organized what we're getting for this. $2K. So he's claiming that Razor are going to give us $2,000 for this. Flat rate one-time payment. Just tracking it all. That's why I'm asking. Split amongst all the charities. So going to the fund. She can send me proof of payment. Yes, please. We will need proof of payment. I know this is a friend of yours, right? Do you usually sign anything like a contract to do these? Just thinking from a liability perspective. So I'm already trying to get him to put it to the fund so we can just add it to the pool, which is obviously the easiest way to then split it amongst the charities. He just didn't answer. She used to sponsor my food bank charity events with Red Bull. Now it's Razor. Just play the ads. Don't have to mention that they are sponsor because they can't sponsor things they don't own. This was so confusing to me. So this is on the 3rd. And this was so confusing because I was like, well, why would they put money to something that they can't sponsor? And we're playing their videos to do it. It doesn't make sense. It just seemed like such a ridiculous lie. I'm already pulling 14 plus 16 hour plus days with Ebroth to pull in all the production. So I was just like, okay, whatever. This is where it starts to get really, really messy. in the last few days prior to the tournament. So I go to our page here and I see this 38,700. As you can see from the front page, I can't see whether these are real donations or not. I can only see that it claims that they're donated, but I can't see if they are or not. Because at this point, he has still not given me access, despite me asking. And his excuse for this, and his excuse to this day, is still that it's his personal information, it's his boss's information, and he can't break his boss's privacy. That was dumb as hell, because the email address that was on there was his email address, not his boss's, and it was a Gmail email address. So I very much doubt that was his work email anyway. Great in hindsight. So I asked him to confirm, is this money real, or is it offline donations? I need to know if that is the real money, by the way, when you can. It is. I have receipts, clear as day. He is saying that that money is there and it's real, and he has the receipts. I take him at his word, of course, because I have no reason really to think otherwise, because I see, as far as I'm concerned, I see that money in the pot. So we're officially at 39K. Are we expecting more? The banker people just need to black out, like names, addresses, so people don't get doxxed. Again, deflecting and trying to push his narrative. I'll put it out to everyone that we are now at this amount. I haven't talked to my boss about it because he's in Taiwan. I'm going to EU currently. This is important because that's later proven as a lie. No worries, mate. Well, I will start talking about this amount now because it's confirmed, because it's great content for socials. I assume that's okay because they're paid already. I tried to get him to reconfirm, and he again uses clear diversion and manipulation. This war with Iran is fucking dumb. They had to do all this right before a charity tournament. And in the most ironic statement in this entire fucking thing, he says, clearly they don't care about charity. A-holes. Very ironic from someone who just scammed charity out of $25,000. I obviously don't know that at the time. Clear, just switch up to divert attention. Also note him saying his boss is in Taiwan and he's going to the EU. It's important to point out here that from the front end of Pledge, I have no way to know if they are offline donations or real. In Pledge, you can do an offline donation to test it out and translate them into real pledges by paying it. So at any time, Google could have paid these fully through those donations and consistently and actively chose not to. When pressed, he then says it's real and confirmed, and he has the receipts to prove it. I am knee-deep in production and graphics, so take him at his word and wait for the receipts. Whilst in hindsight, stupidly saying to the people involved that this is the current total, because to my knowledge, it was, and I ignored my instincts because I wanted it to be true. So I then put the screenshot out to the Discord to say, hey, we're nearly at 40K, look at what we've done, this is so great. My mistake. I was being dumb because I was overworked, tired, and wanted it to be true. I have no other excuse for that. This is him then saying, I'm on the 6th, so this now is the day before the tournament, the morning of the 6th. The tournament is on the 7th. I'm going to be offline for the next several hours, possible till Friday night, the suggestion of him going into a war zone. He then reaffirms this many times, that he's going into a war zone. This essentially is his way to make sure that I can't press him for any further information until the day of, by saying that he's going to be away. At this point, he is realizing, I'm sure that he just needs to not be accessible so that I can't push him on anything. At 10 p.m. that evening, on the 6th, as you can see here, around 9:45, around 10 p.m., I receive an email from Pledge informing me that the donations that were shown on here are offline donations and not fully pledged. So now, obviously, I'm in full panic mode the morning of, or the day before. I then send him this bunch of messages. Can I get access to Pledge account, please, dude? I need to get the impact calculator and stuff for an overlay. That was beforehand, asking him for access to Pledge. And then at 10 o'clock, after this email, by the time I see it, Googs, I need you to confirm, please, ASAP, that those donations are real. Pledge is telling me they're offline and not paid. This is urgent if possible. I thought these were fully paid and confirmed, because if not, I now look like a complete arsehole, having announced it all to everybody. True. Pledge is telling me that these are fully offline donations and tests. They are not confirmed. I need to know what's happening, mate. Also, I hope you're safe. I'm still being very kind, right? I will show you this later on, because these two things particularly come up later on as part of his manipulations to everybody else. This is his answer almost 2 hours later from my initial scrambling. I'm sorry, I'm just answering now. And in hindsight, obviously, this was because he needed time to try and find an excuse and to forge some documentation. I spoke to my boss, and he forgot to mention that Pledge made that fund thing, and everyone was super sus and didn't want to drop any cash into something sketchy looking like that. Went to the charities they wanted to donate to because some they didn't want to. He overstepped and did this offline thing. Most of the guys don't want to spend money now because of how sketchy it looked. He will be me with his credit card donating the correct amounts to each charity, as he too doesn't want to put his money into something. He did send me this info. I just missed it because it was the last thing on my mind. I mean, all of this is bullshit. It's very clear. I was starting to get very suspicious at this point. None of this made sense to me. This being what they see rather than the main page was confusing, and that they were very sussy of it, and then them going to the charities directly was very confusing. He overstepped and did this offline thing. Doesn't make sense because his boss doesn't have access to the pledge. Google does. So he was the one who would have made those offline donations to try and show that the money was there, and he didn't want me to have access to it because I would have seen that they were offline donations. I hope this is starting to make sense to you now. And again, pushing the same narrative. Him with his credit card sat paying it at the end. To be clear, this is the night before the tournament date. This was his excuse. In short, his boss's friends saw this and said it looked sus, so they donated direct to the charities. You can see a common theme here, once again circumnavigating the pledge campaign and making up an excuse as to why they needed to pay directly to the charities. The real reason, of course, is because the receipts he sent there as proof were completely fabricated, and he could not have done that through pledge. Remember these fabricated and doctored receipts, as they are confirmed as fraudulent later by the charities themselves. He also is once again introducing him sitting there with a credit card paying at the end. This is for the same reason, so he can avoid pledge, the very thing I put in place to avoid this entire situation. So I was pretty sure after this that there is a big problem, but I'm stuck in an impossible situation. This is the day of the tournament that this is happening. Please note the immediate emotional manipulation, saying he needs to tell his mum. Oh, this is for the next screenshot, which I'll show you in a second. But I do also want to quickly show you these receipts that I have, because I've given you screenshots of them as part of this evidence file, but I downloaded the receipts that I show here and here. So these are the exact receipts he sent me. And I just want to show you clear as day that I have them here and that I have not fabricated these screenshots. These are the direct screenshots he sent to me, okay? So again, further just proof while I'm making this video live and unedited that you can see that I have these as files. I hope that's clear to you all. Now, please note the immediate emotional manipulation, saying he needs to tell his mum he loves her. At this point, he has been spinning the story that he has been in a war zone and nearly killed, and has been shaken to his core. I, of course, take his word for it and believe him, and you will see my continued empathy throughout while still trying to push for the resolution to this situation. He will later try to use this in conversations with the captains to tell them I am harassing him, and that's why he blocked me. So he sends these. I mean, I thought we were explaining it to them and why it's like that. I'm so far out on a limb now. So while I'm trying to question it, I need 5 minutes to message my mum and tell her that I love her. I need 5 minutes. Emotional manipulation at its finest. I, of course, have to take him at his word, so I say, okay, all good. This is the only picture he sent to show he was in any kind of danger or war zone. I don't have Wi-Fi and was spending the whole time showing them how to use it and then was fixing goggles. This is later going to bite him in the ass. Because this picture is partly how I found his workplace. I said, I know, mate, comparatively to what you've just been through, this probably feels like nothing. Just tell me what I need to do to get their confidence to donate. Hell, I'll call them myself if that's what it takes. Again, as soon as I push on it hard, give me 5 minutes to message my mum. The money is all there and proof of payments will be there. Clear as day. The manipulation is clear as day now in hindsight. Take the time you need, mate. I know it may not seem it right now because I'm panicking, but I do care about you, so do what you need to do. I continue to be extremely kind and empathetic. His narrative will try to say otherwise. He then starts to send me And I'm happy to like show you this live because I didn't take screenshots of it. But as I'm here and scrolling through as part of this video, I will show you some of this because he will try to say that I've edited all of this and that I've used Photoshop to change all of this. So again, me just proving to you that I haven't. I don't need to do all of this extra, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down to find the right parts to show you this. Here we go. So just to show you, this is our chat with me and Google. Just tell me what I need to do to donate. Give me 5 minutes to message, blah, 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 blah. Then he starts to send me all these impact widgets, to which then leads into the next screenshot. Let's ignore the impact widget for now. Okay. First and foremost, and absolutely the most important, is figuring out this money situation and what is happening with it. Tell me how much to donate and what amount, and I'll provide proof of payment. I mean, we've advertised this now as a $40,000 plus prize pool because I thought it was confirmed. Oh, I see the problem. The initial amount is $25K. Yes, buddy, but I asked you if it was fully confirmed and those payments were confirmed, and you said yeah. So I went ahead and advertised that everywhere because, to my knowledge, at that time, all that 40,000 was confirmed. I know, not your fault, but I'm completely up shit's creek. I'm still trying to be nice, even though I'm pretty sure he's fucking me over here. I'm still trying to be nice. 25K pool of winning. I would explain to the caps that 25K is still the earnings. Anything else is extra. We don't have control if people only want to donate to one charity. This is him trying to claim that the car group, ignore the car group money. Stop looking at my forged documentation. Stop thinking about it because we can't control it. So then I ask him, I need every receipt you have. Avoidance and gaslighting at its best. Suddenly the rest of it doesn't matter. Nick, it's only 25,000. I'm at this stage on call with my closest friends and lawyer friends to look at calling the whole thing off because I have an unavoidable feeling that he's lying and the money is not there. I'm in tears on calls because I'm now put in an impossible situation after everything I have already put myself through to put this tournament on. For the past 4 days, I've had 3 hours sleep maximum per night with my producer as we work every hour possible to pull together the entire show in 4 days. After speaking with everyone, I decided to continue with the tournament because everyone has taken the time to be a part of it, and this is all happening the day of. You can see the date here, the 7th of March, which is the morning. This is happening at 2 a.m., the morning of the tournament, right? So everybody else is asleep. Everyone involved is asleep and waiting and getting themselves ready to play in this tournament on this same day that this is happening. After speaking with everyone, I decided to continue the tournament because everyone's already taken the time to take part. My only option left was to put on the tournament and pray that my instincts screaming at me were wrong and Google would keep their word. The worst case scenario, which is currently happening, and the reason why I'm coming out with all of this, I said to my friends then, as I said to myself that day, I will put myself on the line, which is what I'm doing right now, coming out publicly, to get the money if I need to, and will do everything I can to fight for it. That is why you are reading this now. Also note that to him, I still try to say that it's not his fault in an effort to do whatever I can to get the money, as that is the only thing that matters now. Continued this conversation. I understand what you're saying, and if that's all we can do, then it is what it is, but any which way now, I look like a complete arsehole and the trust is gone. I will email Pledge and try to get these attached to the fund, but I now have to start this entire event off saying, I'm sorry, we don't have the 40,000 we spent the last 2 days claiming we have. I know this is not your fault, by the way, mate, and I'm not blaming you. Continuing that. He then just says 25 from Boss, that will be paid, 1,500 from Austin, 5,000 St. Jude, 75,000 dogs. He means ASPCA. And you do have it. It's already been sent to the charity. Pledge doing this because they want money for processing fees over 1K. Again, manipulation, trying to pin it on Pledge, trying to make Pledge seem like the bad guy and moving me away from the issue. I'm going to speak to them now, and outside of this, I genuinely hope you're okay. Did you get to speak to your mum? Still being so unbelievably nice. Because I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially if they're going through trauma, It's not really my place to say, hey, you're lying, by the way. I would just explain to VC to call each cap and explain how the money works. The 25K is still being donated through Pledge, and I will gladly provide proof of payment if they really want it. This is important, this last bit. So he's still confirming he's going to pay through Pledge, and I will gladly provide proof of payment if they really want it. saying if they really want it doesn't make sense because I've been really clear from the outset that everyone is going to get receipts. This is about full transparency. In every conversation I've had with everyone involved, my first thing is to say, hey, we are going to be very transparent about this. Anyone can see the pot at any time that they want, and all of the money will be sent to the charities at the end, and receipts will be given to you and the charities and everybody else involved to be very clear that the money is there. So saying they really want it was already quite avoidant. I explained to my caps what happened. They were all super okay with it. The money is already gone, can't touch it. Beside the 25K from my boss, which he won't do to the fund because it looks like they will already steal his money. Just be open with the team caps. I said, I will be, I will do when I have verification of everything so I can give them complete information. So now your boss won't donate the 25K at all. To the fund, no. To the charities, yes, still on pledge. Once again, still confirming that he's going to put it through pledge. As long as he puts it through pledge and I can confirm it, I don't care, right? As long as that money goes through, because pledge is the way that I verify it. Can we not explain to them that you have control of it? Blah, 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 blah. I push on it more and try to get and explain to him the whole point of using pledge is that every single penny is accountable and we will have full proof, right? He says here, it explains to my captains, which I don't even know what that means, but I asked every single captain involved and he didn't speak to a single one of them. Another lie. So this thing here saying, I explained to my caps what happened and they were all super okay with it. He didn't speak to a single one of them. I tried to get clarification here and he's still saying it will be paid through pledge. As long as that's the case, I can prove it and verify it. Once I start pushing on it, again, he then creates this kind of fake screenshot of his boss saying, no, stop asking, not using a ghetto-ass fund that looks like a Nigerian hacker prince. His claim is that's what his boss has sent to him as to why he won't put it through the fund. I think we can all agree that is likely completely doctored and he probably sent it to himself. We already know that he's faked a bunch of documents. It's not going to be hard to Photoshop something and put that together. This is where I start to just get really pissed off, to be honest. I mean, dude, what the fuck do I do now? I just can't believe it, man. This is happening the morning of the tournament, all of this. Still a prize pool of 25K. They will still get proof of payment. Can't control anything past that. So what is your boss willing to do? Let's start here. I'm trying to lock in on logic and be reasonable. I don't know what else to do. The only thing I see it, send X amount of charity for their winnings at the end of the event with proof of payment ASAP once last match ends. Using pledge dono event page and be open to the captains. So confirming that he was going to use pledge, which is important, and that he's going to sit there and do it at the end of the event rather than before the event. I'm already like, I don't trust this whatsoever. This was his attempt to show that his boss flat out said no. There's no way to verify that his boss, that is his boss, and most likely his message he sent to himself. He continues to lay the groundwork to forget about the rest and focus on the 25K. Nick and I will pay it. Focus on the 25K, Nick, and I will pay it. For now, he is still stating through pledge as he has multiple times. Okay, so just so I'm clear, he is still willing to donate the 25K, but only direct to the charity. So either we have to sack off the entire premise of earning as they go and just split it evenly, or it gets done at the end. And now that extra money that would have made up the 40,000 has gone direct to those charities instead of being able to us to split it at the end as we wanted to across everyone. I push. He again immediately manipulates and goes, I can no longer keep my eyes awake. I've got 15 hours to go, so I need to sleep. Basically, Nick, stop fucking asking. I need to go to sleep, right? You tell me what amount to send and I'll send it. You don't have control over the rest and team captains won't care as long as money's been sent to any of them. Clear as fucking day. I mean, I don't know how much clearer I can be with this, right? I've already, I think, there's so much more, by the way, but I hope it's clear to you all. There is a systematic manipulation happening here, and it's very obvious in hindsight. At the time, I was barely awake myself and stressing putting it all together. Okay, I mean, this is so fucked up. Months of work, all fun gone to shit. Get some sleep, I guess I'll figure it out. I get too close and he immediately says I need to sleep to shut it down. At this point, I'm really debating my decision because he's acting so suspiciously that I know something is wrong, but it's that day, so I'm completely stuck. I've got no concrete proof yet that he's committing fraud and faking it, so I have no choice but to go through with it at this point because otherwise the charities definitely don't get anything. That's the conversation I was having with my friends and my lawyer friend of saying, you know, this is all happening the morning of. Everyone is ready to play this. I've got no other option but to go through with the tournament. If I cancel it, the charities get nothing and it's all gone. if I go through with it, I can at least then try and do what I'm doing now, which is if it does prove to be fraud, I can then try and do whatever I can. At least I have something then to try and work with to get the charities the money that were promised to them. And also the donations on the days, which I think was about 278. So not a massive amount of money, but all appreciated. That money wouldn't be there at all if I didn't put the tournament on. So I felt like I had to, and of course I did. I know, but the entire tournament I spent months organizing. I pulled 16-hour days to pull together all these details, the amounts, the mini games, everything, dude, and all of it has just completely gone up in smoke. Now I have to backtrack everything I've worked for, get some sleep. But they still will get X amount to charity if they win, blah, 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 blah. I'm still trying to be nice, saying I'm not mad or upset you. It's not your fault, and your boss seems lovely. He's good, still wants to donate 25K. So all of this is further confirmation, by the way, that his boss is the one providing the money. This is going to be relevant because I've approached his work about this, and I'm waiting for the confirmation from them as to whether the boss even knows that this is happening. He's just stressed out because of everything, plus missile strikes on us landing on his employee and got lied to by country's government. Again, pushing this false narrative that he was in a war zone. He wasn't. And this is all completely bullshit. To distract me and to give himself an excuse to not talk to me until the tournament starts. But I have to take him at his word. Because if that is true, and he just went through one of the craziest experiences of his life, I don't want to be an insensitive dickhead about it, you know? Sorry, I don't mean to sound so selfish in comparison. I just need to find a way through this because I'm so close to calling it off. So I just need to take some time to work through it because I'm really angry and upset right now. 25K is still going to happen, and the credit card is in my wallet as we speak. He's saying his boss's credit card he has right there. This is the last thing he says, claiming it as his event. I think even from this, just this, if you knew nothing else about the situation, you could clearly see that calling it his event is incredibly rich and dismissive of the unbelievable work I put in personally and others. So this is like, a couple of hours later. We should still have enough time before the event, so no worries. For my event. Okay. I still need access to Pledge, dude. I need to know whether a donor is real or a test. Because as well, I can't call out donations during the stream because I have no idea if they're real or not anymore. Right? Because I still don't have access. Also note that I'm still asking for access to Pledge as he's still not giving me access and made countless excuses about his boss's anonymity and his work email address giving me access to personal data that I can't have because of what he does for work. I even tried in a voice call, but with only 10 minutes to go until the event start, I didn't have time to push it. He made sure to make himself unavailable until the very last minute so I couldn't push him before the event. This driving 6 minutes, this was him basically, this is 10 minutes before we're supposed to go live, okay? For the first day on the 7th. So he has made sure unequivocally that I cannot talk, that I did not have any time to push him on any details before the event started, in which case, excuse me, my attention needs to be on the tournament because I'm hosting, casting, and coordinating everything. So of course I don't have time to deal with him, right? He then proceeds to not respond to me at all afterwards. So after the tournament, I put, do you need to pass out straight away or you reckon we can grab a quick 5 minutes? This is after day 1. Hey dude, hopefully you'll see this when you wake up. I know the last few days have been really hard for you and I would imagine your head is spinning with everything and I've probably made it worse for you for that. I'm sorry. Still being so unbelievably fucking nice. Just want you to take a step back and look at what we just did. We did something fucking awesome over this weekend, Googs, and couldn't have happened without you in many different ways. I'm proud of you, man, and I hope you are too, because you deserve it. I'm here if you want to talk about it all, mate, and I'm sorry I was so wrapped up in the tournament before. Even though I'm suspicious, I'm still hoping that he is sending the money. So I'm, this is me trying to get him to talk to me, basically. Here, I went into a Discord VC with a bunch of friends that were playing, and Google was in that VC. As soon as I joined that call, he left within 2 minutes. And that's why I said, sorry, mate, I hope you didn't leave on my account. Nothing. I then confirm all of the totals the next day. So this was on Monday. Monday or Tuesday, I believe, that I did this. Once he got this, so I sent him all the transactions. So this is the amount of money that should have gone to each charity, right? Plain as day. I also say these are the confirmed totals for the event. If you can pay them through our page, not the fund, as obviously your boss was clear, but you can pay them. You can pay the charities directly through the drop-down menu in our campaign from the show pool link. It would be exactly the same as doing it directly otherwise, but it also shows us through the through the show pool too for evidencing. I would imagine sending them through as anonymous would be the best way to do this, so your boss's details are not on the receipts, so that we can show them to everyone without giving out any personal information at all while still getting his tax receipts. So what I'm saying here is basically on this page, which any of you can access still, because I'm going to be leaving it open, you can go and choose any any of the charities to donate to directly. It's exactly the same as if they went and donated to the charities on their websites. This would just show as it happening through the show pool. So therefore, I can ask Pledge later, have those payments been made? Because then I can get the verification that the money has actually gone. So I asked him, and I'm obviously incredibly suspicious because he's not answering any of my messages at this point, and he left a VC, that something is fishy. So I asked him to simply do it through these means, which is very clear, very obvious. Didn't answer, of course. I would also like to ask about the other receipts. We need clarity on what happened with those as to whether we're able to claim them as part of this or not. After this, I sent one final message, which I'm happy to show you. Because, again, I'm doing this live for you. These are our real DMs. You can see it right here, plain as day. This is not edited, no answering. He hasn't answered any of my messages since the tournament, okay? Again, I can't be any clearer. I can scroll up through these as well, through all of the past ones, just to show you exactly, feel free to like freeze frame this video or whatever. I have nothing to hide personally. So I'm more than happy for people to like, if you want to do some sleuthing and like look at all this, I have nothing to hide. Here's all the DMs for you in real time, okay? I could go on. I've got a screen recording of everything, okay? The last message I sent, is this the issue? Because I thought going into this, you wanted me to do it and take ownership of the event, because I realized then, I kind of missed it at the time, but I realized then he said for my event, and I was trying to scramble and figure out what was going on. So there you go. So I just move that over there. So at this point, once I sent that last message, he then blocks me on Discord, removes himself from the Open Lobby Events Discord, removes himself from any Discord that we're a part of, and basically cuts me off entirely now that he's got the amounts, right? Because now he knows exactly the amounts he needs to forge the documents, right? Because I've given them to him in a hopeful manner. So following is a bunch of messages that he has then gone behind my back to the captains directly to try and get them to accept his forged documents. So he immediately basically sends a bunch of like this misinformation saying that I'm the problem, I was trying to get personal information and steal from Pledge and blah, 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 and start that narrative. And to go and to give himself the framework to then go behind my back, give the forged documents to the captains as proof that their payments have been made, and to try and set me up as the bad guy and the patsy in this situation. Just to be clear as well, I'll be blacking out some of the captains' names and messages as they're giving me permission to post their chats with Google, but wish not to have their details or messages shown, which I hope is completely understandable to you all, and that you will respect their wishes as well. In the same vein as not dragging anyone else into this drama. Okay, there is one exception here of Madeline is lame, who has given me full permission to post whatever I want of their conversations, but all the other captains obviously don't want to be dragged into this for good reasons, so please don't. So these are part of the conversations he was having once he blocked me and the tournament ended. I ended everything and just blocked, gave proof of payments to all the team caps. With Nick, yeah, I almost lost my job. My boss raged. This was his excuse for blocking me because I was trying to get access to his work information. I don't have confirmation from his work yet. I've sent his work an email outlining all of the fraud. I asked them to get in touch with me prior to me going public. They have not yet. I am 90% sure that their boss has no idea that Google has done this whatsoever. So, I mean, just another flat out lie. Because if they did, they would have given him the money, and the pressure that I put on him should have allowed him then to realize that he is in very, very deep trouble legally, and therefore just pay the money if that was what he was doing. He then carries on, pretty much going forward, anything from my boss and his friends will be donated directly to the charity and not using a third party so their privacy remains secure. This is exceptionally important, and I want you to think back to every single time that he has said he was going to use Pledge, that he has admitted that he's going to pay it through Pledge, and now suddenly when it comes to paying, Pledge is a problem, and that I don't know if I'd let people in chat donate to like a third party, so suddenly the third party is an issue, is it? Even though you've spent the entire time saying that it's fine and that you would be paying it through Pledge. I don't know. Seems suspicious to me. He spent the whole time initially accepting Pledge, and that's why I was asking you to keep note of those kind of things. But you can see his groundwork of not allowing me access under the false pretense of his boss's security and privacy, so he can use that to justify the action of donating directly to be able to forge and falsify the receipts. To point out once again, he chose to use his work email to sign up. He was under no obligation to do that. He could have used any number of personal emails. Whilst we're on that topic, the next screenshot shows that there were 2 emails signed up to the account as confirmed by Pledge, one of which has nothing to do with his work. So at any time, he could have swapped the primary email address to the open lobby one and removed his email, his work email. This is from Garrett, who you already know is my contact at Pledge. Hi Nick, the campaign has been updated to reflect a starting total of 25,000 and all other offline donations have been removed as requested. Regarding account access, for further changes to these offline donations, the following email addresses are associated with the account. I've blacked out the email address he gave because, again, I don't want to give him any ammunition to claim that I've doxed him in any manner whatsoever. The open lobby events pledge at gmail.com was another one that could have been used to log in. So what I'm saying here is I said this to him flat out when talking to him in the VC, can you just give me the open lobby events pledge email information, as in the password associated with this one, and just remove your fucking work email? If that's your problem of not allowing me access to pledge, which obviously we know now is not the issue, and why he couldn't do it, because he knew that otherwise I would know all of the back information. But it's clear as day here, guys. He had an option the whole time. So all of his claims of protecting his boss's anonymity and all of that shit just completely fall apart because he had this the whole time to give me access to Pledge. I don't know how much clearer I can make this for you all. The blacked out email address is the Gmail address, which, by the way, is a Gmail address, not a work-specific address, that he claims is his super private work email address that, once again, he chose to use and never change. As you can see, this was the morning of the tournament, and he made sure he was away until the tournament time for me to be able to confront him about it. Upon learning about all of this and him going behind my back to try and spin the narrative of him needing to send these directly, I then sent him a message through a proxy, as he obviously blocked me, to give him one last chance. I'd taken a couple of days to reach out and gather all the evidence I could, and already had multiple confirmations of his fraud and falsification of receipts. This is the message he got, and this is where he really started to panic. As with everything else, I'm changing his IRL name to Google, as I used his IRL in this message to him. The person who sent me the message was the one who gave me his IRL name, so no doxing. Madeline. This is key. And you will see in his messages to others that he is claiming I'm doxing him. So, for the purposes of this as well, which all of you will see, I've purposely changed his name. And I wanted to use his IRL name specifically in this correspondence to him because I needed him to understand how much I knew, and I needed his 2 worlds to start colliding. When pathological liars like this start to get caught out, they reason it, and I know this because of my own father who did the same thing. I won't go into that whole personal story, but he was the same. His work life and his personal life were 2 completely separate worlds and 2 entities. And as long as they were separate, he could justify and compartmentalize in his head very easily the lies. When they started colliding is when all the lies start to fall apart. So I wanted to start that process for him and understand that his online life here, that he has been falsifying all of this stuff with, is now going to start to collide with his IRL life because his work is going to find out that this is happening. I know his address, I know his IRL name, I know where he works. And I wanted him to understand how much I knew without doxing any of that, of course. Which I state in the following message, and this is what I sent to him. Let me just confirm the date on this one, but I believe this was Tuesday or Wednesday of this week that I sent this to him. Bear with me just a moment. I'm going back through my DMs with Madeline just to make sure that that is the right date, because I don't want to give you any false information on this, of course. And I hope that you've seen how open I'm being with all of this with you. On the 11th, so this was 3 days ago. At the time of recording, I'm currently recording this on the 14th of March, on the Saturday. So this was 3 days ago that he received the following message from me. Hi, Google, obviously replacing his real name. This is a message from Nick, seeing as you have blocked me in an attempt to run from this situation. I will get straight to the point. I know about the lies. I know about the forged screenshotted donations you claim were made by the car group. $11 to Autism Speaks on the 6th of March, forged to look like $1,500, to name just one of them. That is this one. I will show you the evidence of that in just a moment. I know that the charities have not received the money at all, despite your attempts to forge those too and send them to the captains behind my back. I know about your attempts to turn them against me with false allegations to fit your narrative. I know about your attempts to try and use me as a scapegoat for your scramble to hide what you have done. I know about much, much more from just 2 days of investigating. Imagine what I will find in a week. I've spoken with each of the captains and shown them the undeniable proof I have from the charities and all people involved that clearly show your pattern of pathological lies and fraud. I will take a second here just to reiterate to you all that I took each captain in a VC for about an hour, 2 hours, some of them, and took them through every piece of evidence I have in real time. So should they choose to come out in support, they will be able to also tell you that none of what I've shown you is edited or doctored or falsified, because they have seen all of this in real time in a video call. You have committed fraud, Google, of the worst kind against charity, and I have the undeniable proof to show it. I will not hide my disgust at your behavior and my anger that you dragged me into this under months of false pretenses. But if you believe anything, believe this. I have nothing to hide, and if you do not make it right, I will make sure everyone else knows it too. All interactions and conversations we have ever had have been recorded and documented. Conversations you have had with others to try and untangle your web of lies have been recorded and documented, and all communications with the charities to prove your fraud have been recorded and documented, as well as other corroborating evidence from previous lies you thought you got away with. I offer you one last chance to do the right thing, and I urge you to take it. You have 24 hours to pay the charities in full through Pledge and the show pool campaign, and send me the login details for Pledge so that me and others can verify these transactions independently. No more excuses or claims of protecting anonymity. I know. You will also make an apology in the open lobby Discord to everyone for your behavior and deception, and stating that you acted alone in this. Should you fail to do this, I will go public with everything I have, and it will be passed to the authorities, as I am working with the charity's fraud departments as well regarding this. I have all of your IRL details, Google, and please note this, because this is very, very important. This is what I sent to him, which I, of course, would never use to dox you publicly. And I hope you guys appreciate the lengths I've gone to make sure that I have not done so. So let me just do that again. I have all of your IRL details, Google, which I, of course, would never use to dox you publicly, but will be used to inform your workplace and the local authorities on what you have done, which will lead to fraud investigations. I have zero desire to take this to the public, and the only thing I care about right now is that the charities get the money they are owed. Understand this fully and completely, Google. It's over. And no matter what you try to spin or convince people, I have far too much evidence against you. So please, I ask you one last time, do the right thing. You owe that to everyone you have lied to, that you have dragged into your mess. On a personal note, you have dragged me into a disgusting web of deception, and I've never been more appalled at a person who I once considered a friend. You vastly underestimated me, as everyone does, until they don't. Do not make that same mistake twice. Nick. I don't think I could have made myself any clearer with that message. And I think I may have scared the shit out of him with it. His first response on receiving this from Madeline, and Mads has given me permission to share all of this with you, just in case anyone is wondering. His first response is, thanks for forwarding to me. If you want to block me, I'll get it, I guess. Mads, who, quick shout out to Mads here, because she has helped me a lot and throughout this week in pulling a lot of this together. Has boss bitched him, basically, and just called him out on his shit. And she's fantastic for this, and I love her for this. Bro, this is not even about blocking. This is evil. You are a liar, and for what? What do you gain from this? He's not even addressing his fraud or anything. He is so locked in on, I don't know how he got my personal information like my name. And I want you to note this extremely carefully, because in the following interactions that I'm going to show you, this is extremely important. Madeline says, I told him your name, and I think that's the least of your issues. She states to him categorically that I got his personal details from her. For context, they live close to each other IRL. They have met IRL. She knows this information. Okay, him knowing my name makes more sense then, and I don't know what to say. He is confirming he knows how I got it, okay? Please make a mental note of this. It's very important for the next 10, 20 minutes. Or as quickly as I can pull through the rest of this for you. I suggest you unblock Nick and deal with this like a man, or it's going to get a lot worse for you, not just on the internet, but in real life. Fraud is a crime, just so you are aware, in all countries. Please note that he immediately is made aware that Madeline gave me his IRL name, and he knows it, and this will show in his disassociation and later messages to others. Also note his immediate victim narrative and focus on my use of his name, rather than me having extensive evidence of his fraud and that it being passed to local authorities. He's immediately trying to think his way out of it. He continues this line of narrative and talking to everyone else as seen below. What follows is going to be a bunch of messages that he has sent to other people to try and still, despite me giving him this deadline, despite me telling him that I already know about all of his fraud, he's going to continue to try and paint me as the bad guy and to paint me as the issue here. Okay. So Nick is claiming everything is fake and I lied to everyone when he has fully doxed me. I would love to know at what point up until March 12th I have fully doxed him in any way. And I hope that you guys will agree and see. At no point have I doxed his name. At no point do any of you know his current IRL name. So I could not have fully doxed him if I tried. Claims he has my full details. I'm sorry for everything, I guess. I understand no matter what I say or show, you probably hate me now like the rest of the team captains. Playing this fucking victim narrative. And it just fucking disgusts me, to be honest. You can't put it like that on a Word doc and change it. This is when one of the captains asked for proof and said, I want proof of your payment to my charity, which he sent, and it is falsified, and I will prove that. I left your lobby server. It's probably best you unfollow me on anything else as well. For your sake, it just scares me how he got my personal information from Pledge when he never had access to the account and still doesn't. And I don't know how he got my work contact info without having access to anything as well. I told you to bear in mind how I got his personal information through Mads. He knows this, and yet still pushing the narrative to everybody else that I have used Pledge in some illegal way to get access to his personal information and using that to try and play the victim. Okay? This is where it starts to get very off rails. Okay? So I do hope we can still be friends. This is I'm not going to reveal who he sent this to for obvious reasons, but this is what he said. Nick has spread false lies about me. Nothing I can say or do. And by the way, when he says spread false lies about me, the only thing I've done is show the captains all of the DMs and show all of this information that you guys have up until this point. So they know the same things you do now. Hardly false lies. They just saw this live as well, unedited. Nothing I can say or do. Most people are going with him and stating I'm evil and a liar. That's because you committed fraud, fuckface. Sorry, I'll try and keep my anger out of it. He has claimed that we never paid the charities for the tournament. He has demanded access to my personal account to confirm payments, like my work email, work Google account has stated everything is fake. The only thing I demanded access to was Pledge. Again, remember, it was his choice to use his work email in that. Nothing, no one else's. He has doxed my IRL information and gained my personal information from Pledge from the people over at Pledge when, again, he didn't have access to the account, my personal information. He knows this is untrue because he knows how I got his personal information once again. That's why I told you to keep this in mind. He claims he will be going to my place of employment with everything. He never had access to the account, and there's basically nothing I can do. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for ever being your friend. Mads yelled at me and banned me from a server because Nick has gone to each captain. I can leave the comp server, I guess. No matter what I say, I'm sorry for being your friend. I want nothing. If you want nothing to do with me after, I'll understand. Again, playing this victim, I'm sorry, bullshit narrative. It's also worth noting that he has still not made any outreach to me personally, has made no apology, no accountability, or anything of the kind. More messages, yes, saying everything is fake when he doesn't have access to the account, so Mads banned me from a server. Oh, sorry, that was the end of that one. I'm not asking you to petty me. I think that means pity him or Nick. I'm just telling you this is what happened, and I'm sorry, and I don't know what proof he has made. This is important. He says he has made. I will show you that it's not fabricated. These are just emails because I've been talking to the charities directly. It just scares me that he has stated he has my IRL information and could now dox me because Pledge gave it to him when he doesn't have access to the account. Once again, perpetuating this lie that we all know now is a lie. But a lawyer is going to deal with it now, I guess. This is his first threat of getting a lawyer involved. I know this is very blurry, but this is Madeline afterwards telling him, I would also suggest that you stop telling people that he's doxing you when he very obviously isn't. You are not going to gain sympathy from people. We all know the truth. We have the receipts and we have spoken to the charities. Please stop trying to save face. It's embarrassing. You messed up. Take the consequences with grace. I love her for this. Several important things to note here. And I promise we're near the end, everybody. If you're still with me and still here, thank you for still kind of going through all of this with me. We're getting towards the end, I promise, okay? Several important things to note here, of course. False lies is rich, as you will see from the evidence in all of this document. He continues to tell people I have doxed him and pushing that hard, despite me not doxing him even now. I'm being extremely clear about that from the outset. This is also why I've asked you all to do the same and not give him any ammunition. As you can clearly see, he is willing to lie continuously to shirk his responsibilities and accountability. It's also clear he's trying to play the victim, and here is first of many threats of getting lawyers involved to try and suggest he's in the right. This is why I have implored all of you watching this or reading this to please don't give him any ammunition to say that I've doxed him. Please don't try and go and search his IRL details because all you're doing is feeding into his narrative, okay? Proof he has made is also important to note because as this will be his basis for attempting to pin this all on me and partly what has forced my hand to come out publicly and show it all plain and simple. Unlike him, I have not forged or falsified a single element in this document and spent an hour or more on a call with each person involved in this to show them the raw messages and evidence in a screen share that would have been impossible to fake, as I've told you guys throughout all of this. Finally, before we get to the evidence, I've talked about this briefly on stream yesterday, Friday the 13th. So as of recording, I'm recording this on the Saturday right now. I on stream yesterday, which you can go back and watch, the VOD is available for you all. I did talk about this very briefly because I knew that I would be then recording and coming out publicly with this very shortly. Just as a little note to you all, I also was aware that Google would be watching because he is in a spiral, and I knew that he would be looking for if I was going to talk about it whatsoever and anything he could then use. So I knew he would be watching. I did mostly do it not just to like get him to dig his own grave, which was part of it, but I also just wanted my community to know what was going on because I've not really been able to come out and tell everybody what I've been having to deal with this past week while dealing with all of these issues and putting all of this research together. And I've not been able to stream as a result, and I've not been able to really tell them why. So it's kind of a twofold. I scrolled through the pages. I was kind of scrolling through like this to show them some of the evidencing and stuff as I was talking about it on stream. So in order to get what you're about to see, he would have had to go through my stream very meticulously to grab the screenshots of what he thought would fit his narrative, but in fact has just proved that he has completely lost the plot now. It's important to note that this is 3 days after I initially sent him. So obviously I sent him this on the 11th. As the time of recording this now is 3 days past. So he has had more than the 24-hour deadline to do anything, to pay the charities, to apologize, to take any accountability whatsoever, and he has done none of it. I don't know what more I can do. I even gave him one last chance to do the right thing, and he's chosen not to. Yesterday, after my stream, he then went to send this to everybody we know, or at least as many people as he could, as a direct result of what he saw and heard on my stream. And this is the last bit before we get to the actual evidence, okay? Publicly posting people's personal info and doxing people's personal info on stream. Lawyer is dealing with everything now because Nick has done this. Again, another lawyer threat. I don't know what to do. The amount of stuff he has gone and edited and done because I called him out for telling him no, he can't have someone else's personal info and username password. He illegally gained my personal information. Again, we already know this is a lie, and we already know how I got his personal information. Fails to mention how he got my personal info when I never gave him anything because Mads gave it to me. Idiot. How he went behind my back to get my... So you can see what I mean about this being his complete narrative. He is so locked in on this idea of me doxing him and illegally getting information that he's completely just not taking any accountability or understanding of what the actual issue is here of his immense amount of fraud and falsification of documents. Fails to mention that during the tournament, he read out loud my personal info email with someone else in the VC, which was a massive doxing of my information where I never asked it to be when he was demanding my username password to my account. He isn't showing all the VC calls we had about things. Just to clear this bit up while I'm here, as we already know, he was as late as he possibly could be to the tournament. And when he finally jumped in the VC 10 minutes before the tournament start, I asked him for access to Pledge. And I said, look, I have 2 email addresses here. Pledge have told me there's 2 email addresses. Give me access to the other one and delete your one. The person in call at the time was my producer, who can come out and corroborate. I'm not going to force him to, and please no one message him and ask him to. As I said, this is my responsibility. Please do not drag anyone else into this, which is why I've not asked him to do that. My producer was the only other one in the call at the time when I asked him this. And the only information I gave out was the email address that was on the account that Pledge showed me, which is his Gmail address. And no, there's no evidence that that is his work email address as it is. I didn't ask for the password to that email. I asked him to give me the open lobby password and email because that's the one I can use to then get access to the account. So all of this is, of course, wrong and false, as everything else has been. We also didn't have any other VC calls about it because he made sure that I was not able to speak to him after that initial VC and made sure to make himself busy with false claims to make sure that I couldn't have VCs. So again, another lie. Once I have written states from the charities, I'm assuming that means statements, and his spelling of charities across this whole thing is appalling. I'm more than happy for you to see everything, but I will not leak other people's personal info, dox people, as that screenshot above proves Nick just doxes people's personal info on the internet. I will show you this screenshot in a moment because this will prove to you once and for all how stupid he really is and how much he's spiraling. I'm sorry our friendship has ended to this, Mads. By the way, he's sending this to Mads, which is ballsy. I do wish you the best, since there is no coming back from this, sadly, from what Nick has done. I do hope your streams games go well. You're welcome to see the proof of payment IRL, whenever, of course, because I know you wouldn't publicly post it online like he has, and names and addresses wouldn't be hidden. I know once he's posted this doc with loads of edited stuff, because I know he knows how to use Photoshop and all that stuff when I can barely use shitty CapCut. I'll be getting loads of hate messages, so I won't be able to answer you if you try and DM me. Nothing I can do but wait until legal action is taken against him for illegally gaining people's personal info and doxing, as that screenshot proves it. and he will most likely dox my work with that document. Anyway, see, man, sorry about everything. I'll have full proof soon that Nick has lied and edited everything because I called him out. So, a couple of things about this, of course. This was sent to a lot of people. He didn't even change Mads' name when sending it, just copied and pasted it to everyone. I had a few people reach out to me with this exact same message, and he didn't even change Mads' name in it across any of this. He just copied and pasted it to everyone. Once again, threatening lawyer involvement and says I got his information illegally, even though he knows exactly how I got it in previous messages. Note the possessiveness of him saying my account when pledge was always supposed to be for the tournament, and as the tournament organizer, I should have had access to the account to see the donations. Once again, I specifically chose pledge because we could not access the money even if we wanted to. You will see this across all of this, him saying, my details, my account. It was never supposed to be his account or his details or his boss's details. It was always supposed to be for the tournament. It's also worth noting, I talked about the VC before. Very ironically as well, and I will say this, I don't know how to use Photoshop, by the way. I use Canva for everything. All of my graphics and any thumbnails and everything I do, I use Canva to do that because I don't know how to use Photoshop. I don't have an Adobe subscription at all. I used to do with Premiere Pro, but I now, and have done for many years, I now use DaVinci Resolve because I was fed up of paying like 20 quid for it. So I don't even have Photoshop. This is straight out the Trump playbook. Accuse everyone else of what you have done. Him saying, you know, he knows how to edit. We already know he does because he's falsified documents. I have proven, hopefully to you guys as well, I've proven throughout this entire process that I have not edited or falsified anything, and I've shown you live everything, and he has. So, you know, it's the same old playbook. The screenshots he showed, and hopefully what I show you now about these two screenshots will prove that he is a moron, and all of this is just fake outrage. The screenshots he showed in these two messages to prove that I've doxed him are the two following screenshots. So I would love to know where I have doxed him in these screenshots and what his lawyer is going to be able to use, right? Because note, I'll have full proof soon that Nick has lied and edited everything. And he's going to take legal action against me for doxing him, right? Let me show you the two screenshots in question. This is from Garrett, who we already know is my contact at Pledge. Hi, Nick. It appears that those those are all offline donations rather than processed donations. Could you clarify how and when the actual donations will be processed? I'm including Jose back in this thread. Please reply to all on future correspondence so we can have full visibility to support response time. Jose is not Google's IRL name. Jose is a worker from Pledge that I was working with on the widget to get the donation widget to work with Pledge. And I'm sure Mads will be happy to come out and confirm that Jose is not his IRL name. So please tell me where in this particular thing I've doxed him. I think what happened is because I went through it and it shows like this, where it's quite small, he just assumed that his name was on it and thought he could use it as evidence, when actually, when it zoomed in like this, and let me just zoom in a little more for you here. How have I doxed him? It's just insanely moronic. And this is the other screenshot, as you can see here. Not this one, but I will show you that one, because this one is him saying... Sorry, I've actually put the wrong screenshot in here, but this also furthers my point, by the way. But let me just quickly show you that screenshot now in real time, which is arguably probably even better for you all. And I'm just going to do this with Mads' DMs that I have, which I think should be okay, as she's given me permission. Oh, no, that is the screenshot that he's used. Because I'm going to show you this real quick. This is like the full thing that he sent to Mads, right? So it's just a few messages above of me asking for access and stuff. But the screenshot I'm about to show you is the screenshot that's relevant, okay? Sorry, I got myself confused there, but you can see it now. Okay. So this, and we're going to super zoom in here so that there's no doubt in anyone's mind, right? This is the other screenshot that he's claiming I've used to dox him, by the way. So this is the back end of Pledge, and this is being using Garrett's, obviously, administrator access as someone who works at Pledge. Hi, Nick. I just reviewed the order, and this is what I received at about 10 o'clock the night before, if you guys remember. This is what he sent to me to show that they're all offline donations. I just reviewed the orders and confirmed these were all entered as offline donations within the back end of the Impact Hub. Could you clarify if the donors committed to these funds through a different page, right? Here, you can see offline donation, offline donation, offline, 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 anonymous, 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 anonymous. Please tell me where on this screenshot I give any personal information or I am given any personal information from Pledge. I would love to know. What I think has happened is because it was so small in this, he thought that this part of the email was maybe his address. When you guys can see clear as day that it says the campaign page. What exactly is what is his lawyer going to do with this? Please, lawyers out there, tell me, what is he going to do with this? I think you guys are starting to see I have taken extreme care to not dox this person IRL. And any suggestion that I have is honestly just defamatory at this point. I think that's the word, right? Not that I intend to take legal action myself, because I'm going to leave it for the local authorities. I genuinely just want to draw a line under this shit and get the money for the charities. That's all I really care about. And I explain it here. I think he thought the bit that says campaign page was his email address, but clearly it isn't. It is also exceptionally clear that nowhere on this does it show any personal information of any kind. This is Pledge, show me the donations are all offline when they approach me with it. It's also worth noting that to get these screenshots, he would have had to go through my stream frame by frame to grab what he needed for his narrative, and he still fucked it up monumentally. Because upon seeing what I have, he's in full spiral panic. He has also blocked a bunch of people off the back of this, removed himself from a bunch of Discords. He knows that his time is coming. So let me show you what you're all here to see, the evidence. And I promise we are very, very nearly there. Google has been unaware that during this whole thing, I've been in direct contact with the charities to confirm payments and confirm receipts he has been sending to the captains as his proof. Every single one has come back to confirm they have not received any payments and that the receipts he has been using are falsified or elements have been changed. I am still waiting on a few charities to get back to me, but this document will be updated with all the new confirmations as I have more than enough to prove the fraud and deception. So, to give you context right now, I have categorical proof from 3 charities, which I will show you all here, that he has falsified documents, falsified receipts, and that the money was never sent. I am currently waiting for the other 5 to confirm as well, and for Pledge to confirm at the time of recording right now on Saturday. But being a weekend, they're probably not going to be able to confirm right now, so we might have to wait a couple of days. I am probably going to record something to add on to the end of this, where I can give you the rest of the confirmations as they come in through my email. But I've been pushing to try and get them to also send me the confirmations. I will probably delay sending this out for another couple of days. The main reason for that, because I would want to send it right now, this whole video, but I'm probably going to delay a couple of days because I want full confirmation that he no longer has access to Pledge, which I believe he doesn't, but I want Pledge to confirm that before I send this out, because that's going to be at the end here, okay? And you'll see that in a moment. Let's start with Autism Speaks. Google claimed that the car group had put in $1,500 prior to the tournament as part of the $38,700. That is this receipt here that you see, $1,500, and you see it here just on my tab from the download. So I've put the screenshot in this document, but you can see as well that I have the download that he sent me directly that you can see from previous screenshots. Note the receipt number, because here, this is their reply when I asked Autism Speaks to verify whether they've received payments. Good afternoon. Autism Speaks issued receipt number DYGLRVFR on March the 6th, 2026. So he's also changed the date. for a donation in the amount of 11 Canadian dollars. We did not receive a donation in the amount of 3,375 on March the 10th. As if you will remember, and I will show you live here, that is the figure that I gave to him for Autism Speaks, 3375 to be paid out. He sent Madeline a receipt stating that he's paid 3375, which then he later deleted, which is what he did to all the captains, which I state here. And I'll talk about that now. As you can see here, plain as day, Google only paid 11 Canadian dollars to Autism Speaks and then changed the receipt to look like 1,500. They have also confirmed that they have received no money from the tournament of 3,375. One very important detail to note here is that post-tournament, once I'd given Google the amounts, he had gone to the captains and sent them the fake receipts to show, hey, I've paid it. He then deleted them around 10 minutes later, so once I started investigating, the captains had confirmed to me that he had sent them one but had since been deleted. Upon re-asking him to make sure that to get the receipts to send to me for those, he did try and dupe again so I could check with the charities. What I'm saying here basically is initially he'd sent the receipts to the captains, then deleted them so they couldn't like look into it too much and was hoping they'd all be like, yeah, sure, whatever. When I then spoke to the captains and showed them all of the fraud and deception, a few of them asked him to send them the receipts under the guise of talking to their chats, talking to their communities and bragging about it. He did send a couple of them a second set of receipts, which I'm currently getting confirmed that they are also false and falsified. Given what you're about to see, I expect all of them to come back and say the same. Next, we have Doctors Without Borders confirming that they have not received the donations. And I'm really sorry about these. You're probably going to have to zoom into them just because of me trying to get them from my Gmail, my Gmail. This is from Greta, who is my contact at Doctors Without Borders, as you can see here. I would also say they have given me permission, but please don't go and now harass the charities. I am begging you to just please not bring anyone else into this. This isn't for me. This isn't because I don't want you like going and confirming. It's because I don't want you to harass these poor people. Okay, I'm the one who's chosen to come out here. Okay, I do not see a donation for that amount. On the 11th, I will note that due to high volume of donations that we receive, it's difficult for us to look up donations by amount and typically easier to find it with a name and email that the gift was made under, although 231250 is a unique donation number and I can't find a record for that amount. Greta. As I obviously have no idea what address he would have sent the donations from because he blocked me, I gave them potential ones that I know of to help further ironclad verification. And at the time of writing, I'm awaiting that response, and this is why I went with the amounts, as they are very specific donation amounts. So just to be clear, they have confirmed that they have not received that donation, but I have asked for full ironclad proof that from the time of the 25th all the way through to now that they have not received any donation from anything to do with the show pool or the amounts, just to further give you ironclad evidence. But I think this should show you in enough proof that he has not paid them. Finally, this is from the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project, as Google had sent another receipt from the car guys claiming that they had paid it prior to the same, in the same vein as Autism Speaks. That is this one here. So this is what he sent me to claim that they have paid this. Or the guys prior had paid this amount. This is proven to be falsified here by the Trevor Project themselves, as they confirm that the receipt number doesn't even exist. So this is my message to Kimberly. So to confirm, you have received no donations in even the last 2 days matching these amounts. Remember, these are the amounts that I gave to Google here for the Trevor Project. So I confirmed that all three amounts were not paid. Could you also confirm the amount shown on the receipt number 172281920, which is this one? Do not match the $1,268.80 the total that you see in the attached document that I sent that was given to me as proof of prior payment. Google, again, taking very big care to not dox, was supposed to have paid the money into our pledge.to fund, where it was then to be distributed by them as per my instructions to ensure verification and proof of payments to avoid this exact situation. However, he was extremely cagey and would not allow me access to the pledge fund, claiming all sorts, which then led me to this fraud investigation. His boss was the main donor, and I have mountains of evidence showing this was supposed to be the case, but obviously there is a lot more at play here, and I'm not even sure his boss knows he's been doing this. I have confirmation from other charities that he has forged receipts like the one I provided to you by changing the details such as the amount so that he has donated a small amount, then changed it to look like a lot more amongst other deceptions that he has not paid the money from the main tournament as instructed at all. I'm appalled at this situation, and I hope that my fierce investigation and determination to get to the truth builds trust for us at least to work together in the future, and I'm fighting to get you the funds you deserve. Her reply, and the final bit of evidence for this, is the bit below. Hi Nick, yes you are correct. We double checked and unfortunately have never received donations of those specific amounts in the last 48 hours. We also went as far back to your event date, March 7th and 8th, and didn't find anything. Additionally, the receipt transaction number of the 172281920 does not exist in our system. Thank you for sharing more information. It's disheartening to hear that this has happened after such a successful weekend. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. 172281920. I don't know how much clearer this can be for you all. So whilst I don't have all 8 yet, all 8 charities confirming, I hope you can see already I have more than enough proof of falsified documentation and deception. I expect the rest to come back the same. And it's fucking shit. Just some last little bits for you to close this out. These are just 3 of the confirmations from the charities directly, but show a very clear agenda and pattern of behavior and show that he has falsified documents and most importantly, not paid the charities as he claims, that's correct my own grammar here, claims he did to the captains involved. I expect all of the charities to confirm the same, as there is a clear plan here from Google here, as I am waiting for their emails as well as pledge confirming they have had no payments made from their side through the campaign. I will continue to update this document as each confirmation comes in. Finally, I ask you to please donate if you are able. So this is the entire point of me putting myself on the line here for you all and going through this so systematically. My only goal right now is to get the charities the money, or as much money as we can get them. The reason I'm delaying putting this out from the time of recording right now is so that I can confirm this in full. That Pledge have removed him from the campaign and that now I have sole access. So please be aware that access does not mean I have access to the money, as that was the entire point of using Pledge in the first place. The whole reason behind it is that Pledge pays the money out, not me. I can't even access it, even if I wanted to, and neither can Google. Anything you donate can go either directly to the charity of your choice, as I showed you here, or to the show pool fund that's split amongst all the charities as described above. I've spent so much time putting this together and going public with this information for 2 reasons and 2 reasons alone. Number 1, of course, to clear my name and show categorically that I have had no hand in this fraud whatsoever, and to show categorically that I've been telling the trust. Goodness sake, Nick. I've been telling the truth this whole time, despite what Google is trying to say. Most importantly, I've come out publicly to do everything I possibly can to get the charities their money that they deserve, even if it costs me my online life and career in the process. I also want to make crystal clear that the choice to come out publicly, and this is really important, is my choice and my choice alone, and I bear the weight and responsibility for that choice. Please do not harass anyone else involved in the tournament, including staff or captains or players. I alone bear this, so please direct all questions, drama, comments towards me. I will not tolerate anyone else being dragged into this mess of shit for my choice to come out publicly. Anyone who breaks this or attempts to drag other people into this will not be welcome in my spaces or my communities either, and I hope I've made that perfectly clear to you. I'm not an idiot. I know how this will go. I know that this will probably do the rounds and a lot of people will get involved and comment on it and start making videos on it and shit. This is not going to go under the radar. I'm aware. And I will not have this turned into another Kingsman drama where everyone and their fucking mothers gets dragged in. I've made the choice to come out to this, so please leave it there. I set out on this project to make a great tournament and to truly do something good for a lot of people. I did what I set out to do, and I put on an amazing tournament, and now I'm determined to finish the job and get the money to their charities. I hope you'll help me achieve this. If you are able to donate, please, please, please help me get something, any money we can to these charities after this just horrendous situation that I find myself in. Okay? The last things I will say, this has been an unbelievably long video, and if you're still here, thank you. I need to go get something to eat because I've not eaten yet. To Google, because I'm sure you will watch this video. I really want to... Man, I'd really love to be able to say something noble and say something like, oh, like karma will get you in the end and to take the high road. But I just can't, man. I'm so fucking upset at what you've done. And like just so disgusted at what you've done. Not just the immeasurable fraud and deception that you thought you could get away with, and because you got away with it in the past, but all of it, man. The fake friendship, the constant lies, the manipulation, the taking my empathy and my character and my choices to want to see the good in people and manipulating that into something disgusting. I just have nothing good to say to you, man. Just fuck you for all of it, to be honest. And I wish I could take the high road, and I really can't. Just fuck you for all of this. Not only have you put me in such a horrendous position to have to now come out publicly with all of this, you forced me to now spend an extra week putting all of your lies and everything together. Meanwhile, I have given you so many fucking chances, man. I've given you so many chances to come out and do the right thing. And all you've done is continue to go behind my back and continue to talk shit about me, threaten to get lawyers involved, like try and paint me as the bad guy, and force me to do all of this to prove otherwise and to prove my innocence. Just fuck you, man. That's all I can say. Your work has been notified. The local authorities will be notified. And maybe I hope you learn from it, but people like you never fucking do. And I'm sure you will make a new account. You will try and get your revenge on me. You will try and punish me for calling you out like this and forcing my hand and publicly calling you out. I'm sure you will find some ways to try and get your revenge on me. I would sit here and say, don't even bother. Don't even try. But people like you never fucking do. That's all I got to say. You have taken my want to just do something good and you've twisted it into something horrendous. I set out with this, and I've stated throughout this, it'd be naive of me to sit here and pretend that I wasn't getting stuff from this tournament, notoriety or connections with other streamers and stuff like that. But I've really struggled lately to find the good in myself, I guess, and like to be able to give myself credit where credit is due, because I work really hard, man. And this was my chance to just do something good. And I could walk away from this tournament knowing that no matter what, after 5 or 6 years of trying to be a streamer and putting my everything into it, I might be able to walk away knowing that I've done something good. And you have just completely stripped that away from me and forced me into this situation. So fuck you, man. And that's all I've got. So everyone else, I hope you can help me try and make a good thing out of this bad situation, because really that's all. My only reasoning really here is to exonerate myself and to try and get any money we can for the charity. So if you are able to share this, if you are able to donate, phenomenal. Please do. The link to the show pull fund will be in the description below. I urge you to please help me get whatever money we can to these amazing causes. We have some amazing causes here. St. Jude's, ASPCA. Hell, let's fucking go through them because they're all deserving. St. Jude's, Autism Speaks, Animal Defense League of Texas, Doctors Without Borders, ASPCA, CHAD, Children and Adults with ADHD, the Trevor Project, Worthy of Love. All of them will be accessible through the fund. Please, if you can, donate and help me make something of it. If you made it through this video, thank you very much. I appreciate you listening to it all and allowing me the opportunity to do this. Whatever shakes out from this shakes out. I urge you one last time, please don't dox anyone. Please don't drag anyone else into this. This is my choice and my choice alone to come out publicly. I bear all the responsibility for that. Thank you for listening to it all, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you.